Hello! Yes, we're back. Normally it's F1 news, but today it's all about the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in the Baku street circuit. What a day yesterday! What an exciting qualifying. 6 red flags. Liam Lawson putting the Racing Bulls car P3. Carlos Sainz putting that Williams car P2. And then, of course, Mighty Max comes in at the end with a pole setting lap, 4/10 faster than Carlos Sainz. But wow, it's so nice to see different teams, different drivers at the front of the grid. It was very exciting actually yesterday. We enjoyed the qualifying watch along was really good fun. So yeah, here we are, 25 minutes before the start of your Grand Prix, but you don't want to miss the start of this one. I'm expecting the scramble to turn one is going to be dramatic. Because let's have a look at the top 10. So Verstappen, qualifying pole. Carlos Sainz, P2. That's the best result for Williams since George Russell was on the front row. I think it's back in 2021. Liam Lawson, P3. That's the highest qualifying position this season for the Racing Bulls. Great result for Lawson. Really staking a claim on that seat for next year, for 2026. Exactly what he needed at exactly the right time, especially whilst he's in competition with Yuki Tsunoda for that drive. Then again, someone else that needs an honourable mention, who really, after Toto Wolff's comments after Monza, where he described his performance is underwhelming, Kimi Antonelli hits back with a P4, out qualifying George Russell in P5. Excellent result for Kimi Antonelli. It's what he needs to do. He needs to be up there beating his teammate. And then we've got Yuki Tsunoda P6, and again a good qualifying for Yuki Tsunoda, putting that car on the third row of the grid. Lando Norris down in P7. Obviously we saw him put it in the wall. Isaac Hadjar P8. Not the greatest qualifying session for him. He was very annoyed with himself. He felt he could have gone quicker. He said, in his words, I effed it up on the final corner, costing him maybe 4/10. Oscar Piastri, we saw him, a rare mistake from him, put it in the wall at turn 3, causing another red flag. The red flag situation yesterday was remarkable. The qualifying session took 2 hours to complete. It was a long stream. And then we've got obviously Charles Leclerc down in P10, who again caused another red flag yesterday by putting the Ferrari in the wall. And this is a specialist track for Leclerc, 4 pole positions in previous races. So not a great result for Leclerc. Fernando Alonso P11, Lewis Hamilton P12, and he's been going really quickly in free practice leading up to the Grand Prix, except in qualifying, what he said was after qualifying was, it was bad luck really. He just ended up on the wrong tyre at the wrong time. The medium tyre looks good here in Baku. Hey Sema, hey Gemma, thanks for having the chat. Just doing a quick catch up on what happened yesterday. So yeah, with Lewis Hamilton, he's been quick, and he just said he was on the wrong tyre at the wrong time in Q2 because of the constant red flags. It sort of stop-started the qualifying. It made it very bitty, and he was just on the wrong tyre at the wrong time, so he couldn't get that quick time to get him into Q3. Bortoletto qualified P13, Lance Stroll P14, Ollie Behrman P15, Franco Colapinto P16, Nico Hülkenberg P17, Pierre Gasly P18, Alexander Albon P19. Again, we saw Alexander Albon putting that Williams in the wall. He must be very frustrated because he then goes and sees Carlos Sainz put that Williams P2, and I'm so delighted for Carlos. And then Esteban Ocon, he was disqualified due to an illegal rear wing, basically under scrutineering. His rear wing had too much flex in it. Your wings are allowed to flex, I think it's 0.5 mil, or is it 5 mil? I need to check on the regulation, but basically his rear wing flexed too much, which meant disqualification, which means he's starting at the back of the grid. So yeah, that is what happened yesterday in qualifying. Oh, Sammy, you missed qualifying. Qualifying was brilliant yesterday. It was one of the most exciting qualifying we had because this track, it's so easy to put the car on the wall. We saw 6 or 7 red flags, and it made qualifying fascinating. And then we got a little bit of rain towards the end, which slowed the track down somewhat. So we get this incredible grid with Carlos Sainz putting that Williams car P2. Mighty Max came in obviously with a lap right at the end of the session to take P1. But then Liam Lawson again. Because this track there are places to overtake, right? But there's not many. Really, you've got the long straight coming down into turn 1, where DRS plays a vital part. That is where we'll see most of the overtaking. But when you get into the Old Town, the track narrows to like 25 feet. Incredibly narrow. So yeah, we're going to see most of the overtaking, I think, going down the main straight down to turn 1. But there are other places. But the good thing about this race is because of the way the grid's set up, I think Max from pole has got a great chance of winning the race. I wouldn't have predicted it in my preview show. But Max has carried obviously some pace through from Imola, and that great performance. The Red Bull has found some extra tenths. Don't know exactly what they've done, but it's worked. Like the lower downforce track at Imola was very successful. This track is kind of a medium to low downforce track, depending on setup. So yeah, it's with the grid starting as it is, you've got Carlos Sainz, Liam Lawson fighting each other, defend. Kimi Antonelli and George Russell behind them. And if you look at where Lando Norris is and Oscar Piastri down in 7th and 9th, they have got a lot of work to do. They're going to have to somehow find a way to carve through, 7 cars. Oscar's got to get through 8 cars to try and score some good points. So because this track is so narrow, the walls are unforgiving, a little clip can change the race, I'm expecting many safety cars. And that will determine how this race goes. You can win this race on a one-stop strategy. You could even go with the 2. But this race, it's hard to say what the pit strategy is going to be because it's going to be determined by the yellow flags and safety cars. So yeah, this race is going to be a fun one. I'm glad you're here for it. You do not want to miss the start in 16 minutes time. Get your snacks, get your tea and coffee, and get settled in. This one's going to be fun. And the first few laps are going to be dynamite. We're going to get action. Gemma's asking for the impression. You're asking for my Toto Wolff impression. Well done, Kimmy. You put that car on P4. Toto Wolff, the pirate. Yeah, that's my Toto Wolff impression just for Gemma. So yeah, singing the national anthem right now. All teams out on the grid. The build up is happening. The tension is rising. The excitement is building. I wonder what's going through Liam Lawson and Carlos Sainz's heads right now. Never would they have expected to be on the front and the first and the second row of the grid. I mean, for them, this is an incredible situation for them. So yeah, get yourselves comfortable. Yes, the national anthem playing out in Azerbaijan. I know, Sema, what a front row. It's going to, honestly, the start of this race is going to be very, very exciting. And we do not have long to wait. I can't see anyone catching Max either, Summer. No way. I cannot. I think Max has just carried that form through from Monza. And they've obviously Kimi Antonelli is fourth on the grid. Exactly what he needed to do. Yeah, exactly what he needed to do. He needed to put in a performance. So he out-qualified George Russell, who's P5. So Antonelli putting in a performance after his yeah, exactly. But it's what he needed to do, right? He had to put a performance in, because after Toto's comments after Monza, which were, he said Kimi's performance was underwhelming, he needed to do it. He needed to put a shift in. He really did. But the big shock, though, you know, Liam Lawson. I mean, he's not nailed on, is he, for his seat in 2026? So the fact that he's managed to put that Racing Bulls P3 does him a lot of favours for 2026. Hadjar's not had a great one, though. Yeah, it is. Huge shock. And also, Hadjar's down in P8. Not where he wanted to be. And when he sees Lawson putting that car P3, he's not going to be very happy. He's going to be furious, in fact. Yeah. Ollie Behrman, speaking of rookies, put P15. Bortoletto's down P13 in the shitbox Sauber. But again, quicker than Hulkenberg. But Hulkenberg had an accident where they replaced his front wing, got him back out in qualifying, but he damaged the floor, so he wasn't really able. He really wasn't able to put in a quick lap. Yeah, Yuki is pissed. But then again, if we look at Yuki, he put that Red Bull P6, which actually is a very good result for Yuki. If you look at his performance this season, he'll be happy that he's got the Red Bull P6. I think that's his first. Is that his first third row this season? He hasn't had many. I know that. Yeah, exactly, Sammy. Yeah, Yuki's P6. It's a really crazy front three rows, actually. So we know that Yuki and Liam Lawson are basically in like a dogfight for well, that's what we believed until yesterday. Let me just fill you in on this. So the word on the paddock's been that Red Bull will be dropping Yuki, and Isaac Hadjar will be Max's teammate in the Red Bull car. So what happens to Yuki? Well, this week Laurent Mekies basically said, well, Yuki's future is not decided. He can go back to Racing Bulls, and it's basically a head-to-head between Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson for the Racing Bulls seat alongside Arvid Lindblad. Now, let me tell you what's transpired yesterday. Alan Permain, the team principal at Racing Bulls, has commented on Arvid Lindblad and said, because of the new rule regulation changes for 2026, he's not sure whether it'd be the right time to promote an F2 driver into F1. And if that's the case, and they keep Arvid Lindblad in F2, and also coupled with that is he hasn't had any wins for a while. So maybe he's got a point to prove. He looked nailed on, but actually he's not winning F2. It doesn't look like he's going to win the championship. So what does that mean? Well, if Alan Permain is to be listened to, it means that we could see Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson in the Racing Bull next season, and Arvid Lindblad having to sit it out and wait it out for another season in F2. And that's the big news about Racing Bull camp, which has really only come out yesterday. So we're joining up the dots here. Because Yuki's performance has improved, Liam Lawson's putting a shift in. We could actually see in the Racing Bulls team, we could see Yuki back to Racing Bulls, because you've got to remember with Yuki is that he brings his relationship with Honda isn't just about using the Honda engines. It's the sponsorship he brings from Honda. They sponsor him an awful lot of money because they want a Japanese driver at the pinnacle of motorsport, and Yuki's their guy. So they can influence a lot by the money they've got sponsoring him into the teams. So that's the Yuki situation. So yeah, the big changes, we could see Yuki and Liam Lawson both in the Racing Bulls in 2026. So there you go. There's your scoop. Your Red Bull scoop. Interesting though, right? It's amazing the information that comes out. Just having my little... Have you got your tea and coffee, guys? Got your snacks, tea and coffee? Hopefully you have. This is going to get juicy. Honestly, the start... You do not want to be missing the start of this Grand Prix. You really don't. This one, the start is quite possibly going to be carnage. I mean, when you got... Verstappen will get away clean, I'm sure, and he'll start pulling away. This is Verstappen's race to lose, for sure. But Carlos Sainz, Liam Lawson, Kimi Antonelli battling it out into turn one is going to be interesting. Then you got George Russell and Yuki. God, no, look, Yuki's a liability. You might see Yuki T-boning Liam Lawson in the first corner. There's a lot that can happen at the start of this Grand Prix, so you do not want to miss it. It's going to be juicy. Yeah. And then obviously got Lando Norris down in P7 and Oscar Piastri in P9, and they have to try and make up some space, make up some places. And it is quite difficult to overtake on this track. I mean, you've got the long straight going down into turn one where DRS is activated, and that's a great place to overtake. We'll see lots there. But yeah, it's not long to wait. Not long to wait. See the drivers now getting in the car. Due to kick off, due to set off in 7 minutes, guys. So hopefully one of the most action-packed first corners in F1 2025. Now, you see, we're giving you some great F1 news today, aren't we? Alongside this watch-along, we're going to give you a little bit of Formula 1 news. What's going on at Racing Bulls. Oh, the big thing we need to talk about is George Russell's absence from any media duties this weekend. Due to him not being very well, he has been absent from any media conversations. Now, we know what the real reason is. I don't think he's really poorly, in my honest opinion. I think it's because we all know whatever he's going to get asked. He's going to be asked, what about the contract? Have you signed a contract? Toto Wolff has said that it's all agreed. You and Kimi will be driving for Mercedes next year. Yeah, you haven't signed it. You haven't agreed a deal. So they're going to push you on that. And that's why he is hiding from any media duties this weekend. He's been quiet as a mouse. So yeah, that's one of the big stories of this Grand Prix. Where's George? Where is George? He's hiding. Okay. How many? 5 minutes till the start. All my alarms are going off to alert me that 5 minutes to the start of the Grand Prix. Get excited. It's going to be good. And if you have just joined us, F1 Grandstand for this watch long, thank you. Welcome. Get in the chat. It's a really great way of us enjoying the Grand Prix together. We can talk, we can chat, we can discuss the action. And of course, celebrate together. And commiserate if your driver isn't the one that wins. But the main thing is we're trying to build a community here. And, that's what it's all about. And you're all absolutely very, very welcome. So don't be shy. Get in the chat. We're a very friendly bunch. No question too silly. No knowledge too grand. Everyone's welcome. Oh, get excited. Just a couple of minutes now until we get to see the start of the race. Come on. This really is the most important part. Coming down into turn one. It's going to be carnage. Charles Leclerc has the track lap record here. Oscar Piastri was your previous year's winner. A little bit of trivia. Which F1 driver has won this Grand Prix in Baku more times than anybody else? If you think you know, get in the chat. You'll be surprised at how many times he's won as well. So Esteban Ocon was disqualified from qualifying yesterday. Well, not during qualifying, it was the end when in scrutineering, his rear wing had too much flex in it. And in scrutineering, they identified that as a rule break and meant he has been disqualified, not from the entire race, just from qualifying, which means he starts P20. Hamilton was looking quick through FP1, 2 and 3. Only managed to get P12 in qualifying. Charles Leclerc put that Ferrari in the wall in Q3, which meant he's qualified 10th. Isaac Hadji, I'm not happy with his performance, P8. He said he messed it up on the final corner. Yuki Tsunoda, decent performance, P6. George Russell, P5. Now we're getting into the exceptionals. Kimi Antonelli, exceptional performance from him, P4. Liam Lawson, outstanding, P3. Carlos Sainz, the hero of the day. First row, P2. Unbelievable result for Williams and for him. I'm so chuffed for him. And then, of course, we've got Mighty Max putting in that killer lap right at the end of Q3 to put him pole position. Which is great for Max because he's got Sainz and Lawson, Antonelli and Russell basically just acting as blockers for him. We're going to see Max scamper away, I would have thought, in the first couple of laps. And it could just be Max leading the entire thing. But we say that. The thing about this track is incidents and accidents are definitely going to happen. So we are going to see yellow flags and we are going to see safety cars. There's no doubt in my mind. So whatever lead Max manages to pull out, it will be mitigated and reduced to 0 when a safety car comes out. So this should be an action-packed Grand Prix. Is it, because you could easily win this Grand Prix with a one-stop strategy, but because of the safety car elements, those strategies are subject to change. So we might see 2-stop winning, we might see 1-stop winning, but anything can happen in Baku. Anything can happen in Baku. The walls are unforgiving. Okay, get ready. Get your cups of teas and coffees ready and your snacks because we are about to go, go, go. Give you a quick look. This is the track, quick reminder. So this is your main straight going into turn 1, 90-degree left, another 90-degree left, another 90-degree left. And this is where turn 3 actually we've seen a couple of accidents here, and turn 15 here we've seen him put them in the wall here. But this is your track, and look at this. By the time we're hitting this DRS zone, incredible speed. So this is where I anticipate most of the overtaking is going to be done, coming down into turn 1. Very difficult to, you just can't overtake through this section here up through the monument. 25 feet wide. It's near on impossible. Well, it is impossible. So we might see some exceptional overtaking maneuvers at different parts of the track that I haven't spoken about. But the majority of overtakes, we're going to see DRS zone coming into turn 1. The Baku City Circuit. I do love a street circuit though. Okay, they're forming up. It's a great city, isn't it? But I've never been to Baku, but it reminds me. Have you ever been to Budapest? I've been there, and the same sort of colour buildings and architecture is quite similar. Great city, Budapest, by the way, if you've never been. And did you know that Budapest is two places? There's a river, which I can't remember the name of it because my geography's awful. But Buda's on one side and Pest is on the other. I used to think Budapest was just like one place. It's not. Got Buda one side of the river and Pest over the bridge on the other side of the river. And that's Budapest. There you go. Look at that. It's not just about F1 news. You get other educational entertainment, which we can call it edutainment. Okay, forming up now. Can McLaren win the constructors title here? It doesn't look like that we're winning it here, does it? It looks like it's going to be over to Singapore. But anything can happen. Okay, business end now, guys. This is it. This first corner is going to be exciting. "90 meters from pole position down to first turn, turn one." It is vital that Max gets a clean start so he can stay out of the malaise that is going to be going on behind him, all queuing up into turn one. It's all happening now. "51 laps at Baku." It's go. Clean start for Max. Carlos gets away clean. Oh, nearly gets a touch there from Lawson, but he doesn't. Gets through clean in that first corner. Okay, no incidents yet. Bunched up though. Oh, we see the Red Bull of Yuki holding off George Russell. God, it's close here. Wow, George Russell puts a move on Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, we've had a crash. Wow, Piastri is in the wall again. Wow, Piastri. We didn't think that would happen. We did not think that would happen. But this is your news. Oscar Piastri is out of the Grand Prix. Put it in the wall. Nil point. That changes everything for the Drivers' Championship. But the safety car out already. On lap one. We need to see a replay of this, but Piastri is out. We can see it here. Does he get touched? So he's coming what? Oh, he just overcooked it. It's a driver error. He just overcooked it. Turn 6. He just overcooked it in turn 6. Zero grip on his front tyres. Couldn't make it stick. Lock up into the wall. So, Oscar Piastri out of the Grand Prix. What does that mean for his World Championship driver at World Drivers' Championship? Well, it means that Lando Norris has got to bring that car home in the points if he wants to close that gap. And Lando Norris has to do everything not to put the car in the wall. Will that change the way he approaches this race? Maybe. Okay, people in the pit. So they've got a new set of tyres under the safety car. Albon's been in. Ocon's been in. And they've gone onto the medium tyre, which is the better tyre. And it's supposed to be good for at least 30 laps. So they were on the hard tyre to begin with. And they switched the medium. Yeah, the wooden. Yeah, well, that was in. It was the same issue. The wooden. He was in going into turn 6 then though, and just overcooked it. No grip on the front. Straight into the wall. We are going to see so much of this today. The wooden. Honestly, how many? Here's a good bet. How many safety cars do you think we're going to see in this race? We've had one already on the first lap. How many safety cars do you think we're going to see during this Grand Prix? Just watching now. Very clean start. I really want to see this Piastri incident from this view. We've got the helicopter view. So we're watching Piastri here. And it was turn 6. Yes, Emma. Yeah, he Oscar put it in the wall in turn 6, overcooked it. Lap 1, Oscar out of the race. Oh. He was going miles too quick into turn 6. It's not raining yet, Summer, but I think there is a chance of rain. Oh, it's got miles too quick into turn 6. Yeah, that's an unusual error. We saw it yesterday. An unusual error from Oscar Piastri. Well, basically, Oscar Piastri was looking to try and... He was at the back of the grid, obviously, but he was looking to try and get past Pierre Gasly and trying to make up as many spaces as he could, probably in that first lap on a charge. And he's just overcooked it. There's a little coming together there with Bortoletto and Behrman, I think. Oh, Ocon. Don't think there's any damage to the Haas. but he did come in and change his tyres. Maybe he thought there was a chance of a puncture because of that coming together with Bortoletto. Still under safety car, lap 3, because of Piastri putting that McLaren in the wall. Turn 6. I think we're going to get about 6 safety cars today. Lando, I think, is currently running P8. He qualified P7. I don't know whether it was because Piastri had that terrible start. Everyone went past him because he had some sort of stall or failure to launch, and that frustration, finding himself at the back of the pack, just meant that he overcooked it into turn 6 as he was trying to get past Gasly. You know, he dropped down from P9. He must have dropped down from P9 to maybe P18 from that start, and that's the rookie nature, though, isn't it? If that is what happened, and he's got all that frustration and all that, almost like panic, you know, you overcook it and you put the car on the wall. Managing your emotions, I think that one. I think that's all I can put that down to. It's managing your emotions. You have a terrible start. The car doesn't move off the line. You go from P9 to P18. You're championship leader. And then from that point, you desperately trying to manage your emotions. And he obviously didn't. He overcooked it into turn 6 and he put the McLaren in the wall. I think that's just a rookie mistake. But it's great news for Norris, because if Lando Norris can keep his head, he's in P8 now. This race is going to have a number of safety cars. Anything can still happen. Sainz still P2. Lawson still P3. Max obviously still out in P1. So, still under safety car, lap 4. Since lap 1. Yeah, that's the thing, Summer. Like Norris, all Norris has got to do now is keep the car out of the wall and score as many points as he can, because it's a free hit now, isn't it, against Piastri? It does make the Driver World Championship a little bit more interesting if he does close that gap. But yeah, it's been not a great weekend for Piastri. Hey, Raiden, thanks for joining us in the chat. Right, so let me just fill you in. You were watching with us on qualifying yesterday, I think. Well, qualifying basically was not great for the McLarens. We had Lando Norris P7, Oscar Piastri P9. And on lap 1 of this race, if you missed the start, we had Piastri stalling on the grid, dropping down to, say, P18. And then in turn 6, he overcooked it, obviously frustrated, and ended up putting it in the wall. Lando Norris is still racing. He's down in P9. Leclerc has just gone past him on the restart under the safety car. Leclerc jumped Lando Norris. So the restart under the safety car now. Verstappen still out in front. Carlos Sainz still holding on to P2. Lawson P3. How has he bunched them all up? Who's fighting who? Tsunoda picked up a spot. He's up to P5. Antonelli's still in P4. Hadjar's picked up a place. He's up to P7. Leclerc's picked up 2 places, up to P8. Hamilton's picked up 2 places, up to P10. Norris down 2 places to P9. That's the current state of things with all the runners and riders of any note. The castle section is so narrow. Alonso's got a time penalty, which he'll have to serve when he's in the pit. Lando Norris putting his front wing right up against Hadjar's rear right. It's oh, Norris makes it stick. Puts the move on Hadjar. But Hadjar's fighting back. Lewis Hamilton's all over the gearbox of Isaac Hadjar as well. He's making a move on him now. Oh, Hadjar makes it stick. Defends Lewis Hamilton's attack. It's action all the way. Verstappen pulling out a 1.4 second lead over Sainz. Hadjar masterclass. Hadjar is very frustrated with his qualifying performance. He sees his teammate put it in P3, and he's down in P8, and he knows it was from his own mistake. Final corner of his flying lap in qualifying was not great. So Tsunoda in the mix, P5. Needs to put in a good performance. Russell, though, all over the gearbox of Tsunoda, like literally all over the gearbox. Looking for a spot to pass. The Mercedes looks quicker. Lawson still holding P3. I know. I'm pleased for the lad. He needs to put in a shift today. I think he will. He's putting a marker down for 2026. This is his best opportunity for a podium. He saw his teammate, didn't he? Saw Hadjar get a podium, and he probably, feels that he's been getting overlooked with the credit this season. Got dropped from Red Bull. Hadjar's been fantastic, rookie of the year, and I think Lawson feels like he needs to put a marker down to go, hey, I can drive, I'm quick. It's been a tough season, but look at this, and I think today is a day that he could do that. George Russell just trying to get in a position to put a move on Tsunoda. Lap set, yellow flag, no, green flag. Came like there's going to be a yellow flag track hazard, but it's immediately rectified to a green flag. Racing can continue. Oh, Hamilton's put a move on Hadjar. Hadjar down to 10th. Hamilton up to 9th. Chasing down Norris. There's a chance of rain. I think they said 60% chance. A 60% chance of some precipitation. Yeah, 60% chance of rain. So Lando Norris is in a Ferrari sandwich at the moment. Oh, it's good driving by Hadjari. Good move by Lewis Hamilton on Hadjar. So Norris literally in a Ferrari sandwich. Got Leclerc P7, Norris P8, Hamilton P9. Norris, like I said, the most important thing for him is to finish the race and to get some points. Because with Piastri out on lap 1, that does give Norris a free hit. So, if you have just joined us, the breaking news is that Oscar Piastri is out the Grand Prix on lap 1, put it in the wall on at turn 6, overcooked it. He stalled at the start. He dropped down from P9 to P19, I'd guess. And I think just frustration from the rookie. There was a rookie. Well, he's not a rookie, is he? He's in his 3rd season. But it was a rookie move. He's obviously got frustrated and he's overcooked it into turn 6 and put that McLaren in the wall. Not what you want to be doing when you're leading the Drivers' Championship. But bad day at the office for Oscar Piastri. Norris needs to maximise the opportunity, score as many points as he can to narrow that gap in the World Driver standings, and actually just make it a little bit more exciting for us. You know, we want to fight till the end of the season, don't we? So Verstappen's out on the hard tyre. We all know the medium tyre is a tyre you want to be on in Baku. Good for 30 to 35 laps. Carlos Sainz doing well here. He's 2 seconds down on Verstappen, but he's also got nearly 2 seconds on Lawson. So this is playing out nicely for Carlos Sainz in P2. Antonelli, P4. 1.3 seconds behind Lawson. I expect Verstappen to really just start pulling out a reasonable lead. Oh, look at that. Russell on Tsunoda in the DRS zone. Wow, the DRS is effective here at Baku. A long straight. Russell all over the gearbox of Tsunoda. Tsunoda definitely slowing Russell down. Another DRS zone. He's done it. So there's your change. Russell has just passed Yuki Tsunoda for 5th place. Kimi Antonelli in 4th place. So Russell is 2.5 seconds behind his teammate Antonelli. Will there be any team orders? Will they want those two to switch positions? Just watching Russell's move on Tsunoda. Yeah. Nice and clean and tidy, as what you'd expect from George Russell. He's a very clean and tidy driver, isn't he? As expected. Antonelli closing the gap now, I think, on Lawson. But Lawson 1.8 seconds behind Sainz. I was expecting those two to be closer, to be in more of a battle, actually, the Racing Bulls and the Williams. But Antonelli's right on the gearbox of Lawson now. 8 tenths. So Yuki Tsunoda's a little bit off the pace, and what he's basically forming is a DRS train, which means he's bunching up the grid so much on the track that everybody's in everyone's DRS zone. So when you hit the DRS zone, everyone's got DRS. It's just a snake at the moment coming through the old town. Lap 11 of 51. So Verstappen really pulling out some clean air between him and Carlos Sainz, as to be expected. Really, this has worked out perfectly for Verstappen. He's got the right cars between him and the fast cars, hasn't he? You know, having Sainz, Lawson, Antonelli, Russell, between him and the Ferraris and the McLarens, obviously Piastri's out. It's worked out perfectly for Verstappen. He's pulled out a 3-second gap now to Carlos Sainz. I expect him to continue to do so and really just keep increasing that clean air between him and Sainz and the rest of the field. It's worked out perfectly for Max so far. Short of him making a mistake, having an accident. Raiden, yeah, exactly. Look, I know you're an Aussie and I know you're an Oscar fan. And actually, out of the two drivers, I actually do believe Oscar's the better driver out of him and Lando. But it does make it more exciting if Lando can score some big points and we can narrow that gap between the two of them and make the Drivers' Championship something interesting for the end of the season. Because obviously the Constructors' title's gone, right? Like, obviously, McLaren are gonna take that in Singapore. But we do want to see some sort of jeopardy and drama and a fight for the championship, even if it's between Lando and Oscar. So if Lando can keep it on the tarmac and keep it out of the wall and actually, you know, score some decent points, could make it more interesting for the remaining, 6 races left? So lap 13, 51. For the medium tyre, the pit window's coming up about lap 18. I'm actually surprised we've not had more yellow flags. If we look at what happened in qualifying, we had 6 six incidents, didn't we? 6 stoppages. But safety cars will definitely come into play as tyre degradation gets worse. There's no doubt in my mind that we will 100% get another safety car before the end of this race, maybe 2. But so far, pretty clean. Only Oscar Piastri with that real mistake that put him in the wall and put him out. So that is your F1 news for this Baku Circuit Grand Prix, Azerbaijan, so far. Carlos Sainz has pulled out a 2.5-second gap between him and Liam Lawson, though. I thought they'd be quicker. I thought they'd be closer. Really, the battle to look out for is Kimi Antonelli and Liam Lawson. And also, George Russell has closed the gap to Kimi Antonelli. Obviously, travelling quicker, putting in fastest lap times as well. or fastest sector times. It's really, I think team orders may come into play between Russell and Antonelli. Antonelli may have to let Russell by, because Russell's closed down. I think it's like a 2.5 second gap in just a couple of laps. So we could see those Mercedes team orders. That castle section is ridiculously tight, isn't it? 25 feet wide. Antonelli's not made any ground on Lawson. In fact, Lawson has pulled out a 3-second gap. No, I'm talking nonsense. Lawson, Antonelli is all over the back of Lawson, and he's only four tenths behind him, with Russell only 4 tenths behind Antonelli. Actually, this is the fight to watch. It's Sainz that's pulled out a 3.4 second gap over Lawson. Alexander Albon having a horrid weekend, really. Having to watch his teammate up in P2. Doing well, holding ground very nicely as well. He's got a 3.35 second lead over Lawson, which is good work for Sainz. Verstappen, again, increasing his lead as we'd expect. Over 4 seconds gap now between him and Carlos Sainz. This Grand Prix will be Verstappen's to lose, for sure. It couldn't have worked out better. Couldn't have been a better grid for him. Now, these Mercedes is interesting because... Baku Stappen. Exactly, Raiden. Baku Stappen. 100%. It's worked out so nicely for him, hasn't it? Right, it really has. It couldn't have worked out better for him. They're obviously carrying some pace through from Monza. Whatever they did to set up the car to help him with that incredible performance in Monza, with his pole position, winning by 20 seconds. We had race pace as well. Obviously, it's a low downforce track. This is more of a lower downforce track, but it does have the twisty section through the Old Town, so slightly more balanced, I'd say, than Monza. But that long straight and that DRS zone, low downforce is key down there. So it seems to be the best place to overtake coming down towards turn 1. So Albon gone straight for the hard tyre. Lap 16, he will be able to stick to a one-stop strategy. He can go straight through to the end on those hard tyres from here. Yeah, Russell asking for team orders on Antonelli to let him pass because he's out on the hard tyre. So he has a tyre advantage over Lawson, who will have to pit within the next few laps off those mediums. Russell's on the hard. He can go for a longer stint and actually create some clean air and get that pass. It's the right move. If they are going to make that team order, it's got to come soon. Antonelli is going to have to let Russell pass so he can chase down Lawson. Do you think that's the difference, the Wooden? Is that the improvement to the Red Bull car? They've done something to the brake cooling device. They've done something to the brake cooling, which is given the extra couple of tenths that they seem to have found last at Monza and here. It could be because Ferrari, haven't they? Ferrari improved their brake cooling as well with their upgrade. They had basically re-engineered that looks like carbon fiber ducting basically, which helps position or should increase the brake cooling on that Ferrari as well. They did the same thing. That was an upgrade they had as well. Seems like there is a significant advantage by improving your brake cooling, which makes sense, obviously. But is that the upgrade they brought in Monza, the Wooden? Oh, there's been a touch. Alexander Albon touched Franco Colapinto, sent him into a spin. In the back of the grid, where you'd expect Colapinto to be. Really, Alexander Albon, you don't really expect him to be back there, but he put it in the wall. And actually, if you look at the way he put it in the wall in qualifying, he didn't drift out wide from overcooking the corner. It was on the turn in. He had too much turn in because of the wind on the track. He was approaching the corner at his usual speed, and it was so windy yesterday that it basically made his turn in more aggressive, and he clipped the inside of the corner. Well, it's hard to tell, actually. I need to have a look at it. So coming into turn 4, Colapinto, should he have yielded? His rear left took the front right portion of Albon's wing off his car. I mean, Colapinto wasn't really on the racing line where he should be. Yeah, might be a racing incident, that. Right. Okay, the Wooden. So that's what's going on. Everyone seems to be putting a lot of time and effort into the brake cooling. Those are the upgrades that all these teams seem to have done. Ferrari have done it. Now, if you say Red Bull have done it, we're obviously seeing big improvements. It's worth at least a couple of tenths, isn't it? So Antonelli's coming to the pits to go onto the hard tyres, which will take him to the end of the race on a one-stop strategy. Russell now hunting down Lawson, who is on the medium tyre. Russell on the hard tyre, 1.2 seconds behind Lawson, which means if Russell can put in some quick laps, he could end up gaining track position on Lawson and pull out some clean air. But let me tell you the interesting update. Verstappen has a 5-second gap over Sainz. Verstappen on the hard tyre as well, so it means he's going to go longer on this stint. Sainz is in the pit window now with these mediums. We may see him coming in. And then Lawson is 5 seconds behind Sainz. So Carlos Sainz looking good here. He needs a clean stop. A good clean stop, one stop would be perfect for him. And if by some magical situation where we do not see another safety car, it's good news for Sainz. I mean, both Sainz and Lawson are in the pit window now. So Russell, He is making time on Lawson. He's within the DRS zone. And he is now just 4 tenths between DRS. Oh, he's closed the gap. Russell really on the gearbox of Liam Lawson now. Leclerc in the pits. Good move. He'll have gone onto the hards now. Yeah, he's trying to get some heat into those tyres. Yeah, the wouldn't 100%. This track, I'll be absolutely gobsmacked if we do not see another safety car. Won't you? I mean, we've got 31 laps left. I'll be amazed if we don't get another safety car. Leclerc's gone onto the hards. See Lawson doing a decent job here for Sainz. Protecting Sainz as P2. That's the right thing to do. He's in the pit window. Bring Lawson in. Decent stop. Lawson rejoins on the hard tyre in P10. Got Antonelli right on his gearbox. Wow. Got Antonelli and Lawson going at it. Best chocolate in the world, this. Yeah. Antonelli is all over Lawson. On those fresh, obviously Lawson on those fresh, cold tyres. Oh, God. I've got all my snacks with me. Have you ever tried this, by the way? Dairy Milk Marvelous Creations. It's so good. If you don't have it in Australia, you need it. You need it in your life. It's so good. So lap 22. Antonelli puts a move on Lawson, gets past him. He needs to stay on his gearbox. It's looking good for Russell, actually. Looks like he might have jumped 2 spots. Looks like he's got enough time to go and do his stop. And if he does his stop, he can go to the end. And then I think he should come out in front of Antonelli, who is in front of Lawson, which effectively means we could see Russell in good shape for P3. So, can you believe it? We've only had one DNF so far. Oscar Piastri is the only guy out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He is the only driver coming to this halfway point who is out of the Grand Prix. I'm shocked, actually, because this track, so easy to clip the wall. So Carlos Sainz has got 4-second lead over Russell. And actually, Carlos Sainz is... This looks good for Sainz. He's looking good for P2. He's in the pit window. He's out on that medium tyre. But when are they going to bring him in? That's the question. I think if I'm Red Bull, I hang it out. I take the stint as long as I can until I lose my tyres. Because if Verstappen goes onto the mediums and he can get to like a 20 lap window, the mediums are going to be the best tyre to be on towards the end of the race. They're just discussing Sainz now, because if Sainz then goes on to the hard tyre, which he will have to do in his pit window, he wants to extend the stint as long as possible so the hards don't go off before the end of the race, because the medium will be the stronger tyre, and that's the tyre that Russell will be on also, who will be the car immediately behind him. So that's why we're seeing Sainz pushing this first stint on the medium for as long as possible, so when he goes onto the hards, he does not have the drop off at the end of the race. No, he's done well. He's pushing that. Apparently, Pirelli said the medium's good for 30 laps. Is it? I think it depends. And the tyre wear looks pretty severe. So, yeah, they've got to be thinking about pulling him in the next couple of laps. But Pirelli say the medium was good for 30 to 35 laps. I'm not sure that's true. But who am I to argue with Pirelli? But we'll see, because look at the delta there. Like, Russell has closed the gap from 4 seconds to 3.4 between him and Sainz. So that would tell me that those mediums are really dropping off quickly now. They're talking about how windy the track is. How windy it is in Baku. Windy Baku. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty windy. But same for all the drivers. They've all got to deal with it. They've got to be bringing in Sainz, surely. Surely they've got to be bringing him in. Yeah, Max Verstappen, as expected, pulling out a lead. And if you look at the rate in which he's pulling out lead, it does make me think that Carlos Sainz's mediums are dropping off the edge of a cliff now, lap 26. Verstappen on the hards. He will take that probably. He probably, if he pits lap 35, maybe. He can easily take those mediums to the end of the race. I mean, he's in the window now, Verstappen, to be fair. But look at Sainz now, down to 9.2 seconds behind Verstappen. Russell narrowing the gap to Sainz now up to 2.6 seconds. Yeah. Oh, good. Good to see you still there, Steamer. Keep watching. Hopefully we can provide a little bit of commentary, discussion whilst it's going on. The exciting part now is to see what Sainz is going to do. He needs to. Those tyres do not look good. He needs to pit. So your current order: Verstappen P1, Sainz P2, George Russell running P3, Tsunoda P4, Norris P5, Hamilton P6, Hadjar P7, Antonelli P8, Lawson P9, Leclerc P10, Stroll P11. Then we've got Hulkenberg, Behrman, Ocon, Gasly, Bohr, Toletto, Albon, Alonso, and Colapinto. Piastri is out. So Leclerc now hunting down Lawson. Sainz is pitting. We knew that was coming, right? He's in the pit. Is it going to be a quick stop? Let's see where he comes out. Oh, good. Good stop. Good stop by Williams. Where's he coming out? He needs to get it. He needs to come out in front of Lawson. He needs to come out in front of Antonelli. He's out. He's out in front of Hadjar. That's great news. So Sainz got Hadjar and Antonelli between him. And Sainz, that's his stop, which will take him to the end of the race on the hard tyres. So this is good news. Hamilton needs to stop. No. So that's good news. It all depends on what happens with Russell now. Sainz is looking good for a podium here, actually, when you do the maths. Sainz still looking good for a podium. Yeah, the Wooden's talking about Leclerc's race pace. I think, yeah, I think that with that Ferrari, it hasn't been, since qualifying, it's not been that outstanding, has it? And I don't know, with someone like Leclerc, when you put the car on the wall, do you lose a tenth of performance because of that mistake? Does it slow you down in the race? I don't know. Yeah, it did. It worked out great for Sainz. He's looking very good for a podium now. So this race looks pretty nailed on for Verstappen, bar something crazy. Really, it's just down. I think the real battle now is George Russell and Carlos Sainz. Hadjar on the radio saying we should pit before he overtakes me. He's talking about Antonelli all over his gearbox. Because Hadjar needs to pit before the end of the race, obviously. He's on the mediums. Antonelli out on the hards. Yeah, Hadjar's in the pits. He stretched out the run on those mediums though, didn't he? Got 30 laps out of them. We've got 21 laps remaining. Decent stop from Hadjar. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? There's only Oscar Piastri who has retired from this Grand Prix. When we saw all of those incidents in qualifying yesterday. I mean, what was it? 6 yellow flag incidents, I think. Or red flag incidents, I should say. Yeah, the Wooden says pretty clear that Red Bull have this new device controlling the tyre wear. I mean, McLaren are even putting a dent in his lead. It's true. The Red Bull's improvement in performance over the last 2 Grand Prix has been quite remarkable, hasn't it? It really has been quite remarkable. And if it is down to controlling the brake temperatures in a better way, then fair play. Because not many upgrades are coming to any cars between now and the end of the season. But if you can have an upgrade which actually has such an impact, then good for them. Good for them. Well, it's great for Max. I mean, even Yuki, we have seen a massive uptick in his results and performance also. He's currently running P3. He does need to stop. I mean, Norris, surely his tyres have got to be going off. 32 laps on the medium. He's well in the window. And Hamilton's going to be going on to the mediums, which means he is going to have some quicker race pace for the last half of the race. So, and Leclerc's on the hards right now, which will take him to the end of the race. So when everyone's done their stop, we'll have a clearer idea of the runners and riders. But it's looking like it's going to be Verstappen, Russell, Sainz when it gets shaken out. That's what it looks like to me. Oh, I'm out of focus. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Still put a good drive in Lawson. So I would say it'll end up being Verstappen, Russell, Sainz, Antonelli, Lawson. That's what it'll shake out like on track position when all pit stops. Well, as long as there's no safety car, which, as we know, some of these tyres are dropping off at a rate. We could see a safety car incident, absolutely, within the next couple of laps. I mean, Lando Norris is on 31 laps on these mediums. That McLaren is very gentle on tyre wear. Randeep Singh for McLaren seems to be the one making the decision as to when they're bringing Lando in for tyres. Yeah, you're right. They wouldn't. Any development they're doing now, actually, on any of these cars in 2025 are directly impact the development of the 2026 car for sure. And also, if you believe what Brembo have been putting out, they're saying because of the regenerative braking of the 2026 car, the management of the discs that they have to produce for most teams is important because they're going to need smaller discs. But those smaller discs are still going to need to operate at very high temperatures at times where the regenerative braking is doing some of the heavy lifting for the brake discs. There are still moments on track where they need to have the same ability as the much larger discs that are on the cars today, which would make me think that keeping those discs and brakes cool will become even more important, which is why the teams are obviously putting a little bit of resources and time and development into those parts. I think you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I think we've done well that we've had no red flags, we've had no safety cars. Well, we had one on lap one because of Piastri's crash in turn 6, but I really thought we'd have more. It's playing out in Sainz's favour this though, for his first podium at Williams, and Williams' first podium since I can't remember. When was the last time Williams got a podium? Was it 2021? I know George Russell put it on the front row of the grid and for Williams, didn't he? That was the last time they had a front row qualifying position. But yeah, when was the last time they had a podium? Let's have a look. Let's check. The last podium was 2021 Belgian Grand Prix. And that would have been George Russell. Which was obviously George Russell's first podium. Williams' last podium was George Russell's first podium. 2021. Belgian Grand Prix. Yeah, that's right. It was pissing it down. I remember. Super wet. Yep. Excuse me. The last little lingering of man flu from this week. I'm coming out the other side. Excuse me. Jeez. Norris still not pitting on those from those medium tire. Yeah. Thanks, Emma. Thanks. I know. Yeah, I always sneeze twice. I don't know what it is. One sneeze is never enough. I sometimes sneeze thrice. Yeah, no, sometimes do a triple sneeze. Surely Norris has got to be coming in now. He's stretching those mediums out long enough. Surely. You got to be bringing him in. Well, when you say what does Lando look to gain by having a pit stop, to be honest with you, I'd say it's more a case of doesn't put the freaking car on the wall, right? He's got a 7.5 second gap over Hamilton. And he's got and he's 2 seconds behind Tsunoda, who also will need to stop. So he will jump Tsunoda. Hamilton pits. This is the pit stop. I'll take him to the end. That's a quick start. 2.2 seconds. Great stop. And Hamilton out on the medium. Is 6.5 seconds behind Leclerc. Okay, Norris, 2 seconds behind Tsunoda. Coming off the mediums, popping on a set of hards, taking to the end of the race. That should... No, Lawson, what's interesting, Lawson's still out in front of Leclerc. Hamilton behind Lawson. This is good news for Lawson. Although he is 6.7 seconds behind Antonelli. So it's the right move. Norris coming out with some fresh rubber till the end of the race. Lando's boxing right now, Summer. He's lit. It's a good top. Let's see. No, not that good. Not a good stop. 4.1 seconds. He lost 2 seconds in that pit stop. That is not good. So he's come out behind Lawson, behind Leclerc, in front of McLaren. That is not a good stop for Norris. 2 seconds cost him. He would have come out in front of Lawson and Leclerc. Oh, that is brutal. So Norris's pit stop was 4.4 seconds or 4.2 seconds. 2 seconds too slow. If his pit stop was 2.2 seconds like Hamilton's, he would have gained track position on Liam Lawson and Leclerc. Oh, that is not good. That was a slow stop again. If I'm Lando Norris, let me see what happened. What happened? Yeah, what happened? So up, front two, clean. Ah, front right front. My gosh, tyre gun. Front right front again. That they're going to be sacking some of these. Lando's pit crew. another error on Lando's pit stop. The tyre gun. Or the pit crew team member with the tyre gun. Was it his error? Was the tyre gun faulty? I don't know. I would say it's an error. Sainz back into third. This is good. He's got Antonelli on his gearbox, 2 seconds. So the real battle's now. Can Sainz hold third for his podium? Antonelli 2.2 seconds behind him. Lawson making a move on Tsunoda. He's done it. He made it stick. Lawson versus Tsunoda. What's interesting about that battle is they're both head to head for that Racing Bulls seat in 2026. Lawson making that move stick on Tsunoda. Yeah, McLaren, that's a couple of errors, isn't it? You know, consecutive Grand Prix, and it's on Lando. It's Lando's, pit stops where it's happened as well. Lando is, he's got a free hit against Piastri. There's a big difference between finishing 6th or 8th. Well, 5th or 8th that they would be here. He is all over the back of Charles Leclerc, though. We're going to see some racing. 11 laps left. George Russell pitting. Now, will he get out? Where's he going to rejoin the race? It's going to be close. Is he going to get out in front of Carlos Sainz? I don't know. Where's he coming out? I think Russell got out in front of Sainz. But we are watching the battle between Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki slowing down Leclerc, allowing Norris to be literally all over the gearbox of Charles Leclerc. Yuki on the medium tyre now. Russell also on the medium tyre in P2. So the real battle now is between Sainz and Antonelli and Yuki, Leclerc and Norris. It's just not stacking up for Norris to get past, is it? So Verstappen in the pits. 10 laps remaining. Sainz is within 2 seconds of Russell, but Russell on fresh rubber on that medium tyre. He should really put some clean air between him and Carlos Sainz. Norris past Leclerc. Okay, up to 7th. Can he catch Yuki? Of course he can. He's only 1 second behind him. So Norris could attack Yuki and could attack Lawson, I think. Max has just boxed. He's just boxed. And I think he's boxed and he's still holding an 11-second lead over George Russell. But the real question now is, we're not really showing the battle, but it's whether Antonelli, he's got 10 laps to get past Carlos Sainz. Not that that is going to be easy, because Carlos Sainz is going to be holding on to that podium like, you know, you're going to have to get out of his talons. But Antonelli, the rookie, they're now showing us the gap, but there it is. Yeah, Russell out in front of Sainz. But you can see Antonelli, he is not far off his gearbox. I want Carl. Do you know what the thing is, Sema, is I want Carlos to hold it. I do. I'm rooting for him, but it's 1.2 seconds between him and Antonelli. He's got to make that. He has got to make that car big for the next 9 laps and make it incredibly difficult for Antonelli to put a move on him. It's the DRS zone coming into turn 1 is the danger. That Williams is not fantastic in a straight line. The speed isn't really there compared to the Mercedes, but he's going to have to use all of his racecraft, I think. Yeah, Carlos does need this, and I want him to have it as well. His season's been so poor. This is what can change his entire season. And it's great for Williams as well. Like, we have to remember, Foles has taken that team from a P9 team to a P5 team. Yeah, I saw George's pit. Yeah, they took ages to show us that on the television, though, they wouldn't. But it was quick. They did a good job. They got him out in front of Carlos Sainz by 2 seconds. And he's pulling away, obviously, because he's on that medium compound tyre. So he's pulled the gap out from 2 seconds to 3.6 seconds now. So that medium tyre really working for Russell, as you'd expect. And they'll be fresh all the way through to the end of the race. So Lawson and Yuki in a real on-track battle, though. Yuki on the medium, Lawson on the hard tyre. And these are the two drivers who are battling it out for a seat in the Racing Bulls next year for 2026. Yuki's putting a move on him. Oh. Can Liam Lawson hold him off? George is in good shape. George Russell's now P2 and he's done his final pit stop on the mediums. No, it was a good stop. Russell did a decent stop. He got out in front of Carlos Sainz. Yeah, Russell's safe for P2. He's on the medium tyre, the faster tyre, to the end of the race. He's pulled out more gap. Hamilton past Leclerc on that medium tyre. Hamilton's going to be on the gearbox of Norris very soon because Norris is on the hard tyre. Hamilton's on the medium tyre. Just 1.5 seconds behind Norris. We could see light rain turn 16. That interesting. There's only 8 laps left though. But it could change things. We could see someone slip into the wall. But Hamilton, at the rate he's going, will be on the gearbox of Norris within 3 laps. Hamilton's showing some pace. So 3 to 4 laps, Hamilton could be right on the gearbox of Norris, who is on the gearbox of Tsunoda, who is on the gearbox of Lawson. So we could see some action here. Yeah, I agree with you, Crofty. Lawson is driving very well. He is not leaving any gaps, not putting a wheel wrong. Smooth, consistent, 0 mistakes. And he's created a DRS train behind him, which makes it exciting for us if there are opportunities to overtake. He's doing well. Just 7 laps left. Hamilton closing the gap down now on Norris's gearbox. You can see them on track position. Because Lawson is not the fastest car at the front of that DRS train, it's allowing Hamilton to get on the gearbox of Lando Norris incredibly quickly. 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. There is nothing between them. We're going to see how this shakes out in the last 6 laps. Yuki is trying to put a move on Lawson, but Lawson really driving well, defending well, putting that Racing Bull in the right part of the track to prevent Yuki from putting a move on him. But applying pressure to Yuki from Norris, who is putting a move on Yuki. Oh. And Lando Norris needs to pick up as many points as he can with his free hit against Piastri, due to Piastri putting that McLaren in the wall on turn 1. Sorry, on turn 6, lap 1. You see, Lawson's on the hard tyre. Yuki Tsunoda's on the medium tyre. And he's doing a great job keeping Yuki at bay. Hamilton. Under 1 second now behind Norris. Leclerc, 2 seconds behind Hamilton. Got Leclerc's on the hard tyre. Hamilton's on the medium. The problem is with that is they're in a DRS train, so every one of those cars get DRS, right? Because they're all getting DRS because of the car in front. So when they're in that slipstream, they're all just going quicker because they're all getting the DRS from the car in front. So it actually creates a very interesting dynamic for the race. But you lose your DRS advantage if the car in front is getting DRS from the car in front of them, right? Everyone's quicker. So Hamilton's now in the DRS zone against Norris. Now you've got 4 cars all in the DRS train. Sainz needed this big time. Yes, he did, Motorsport fan. He needed this big time. And you know, and if he holds on for that podium, I'm delighted for him. And I'm delighted for Williams. I think it's, you know, I like to see mid-teams getting a good result at least once or twice in a season. You got to get a podium. It's good for the team. It's good for the sport. It's good for the sport. And it's great for Carlos Sainz. After the season he's had, he only scored 16 points all season. So it's great for Carlos. I'm delighted for him. Yeah, Lawson. No, Lawson is the only one not getting DRS, exactly. Because he's the front of the train. I know. So, which then we have to also consider how well Lawson is driving, right? Because he is creating the DRS train behind him, but Yuki does not have the opportunity. He's managed to fend him off and defend very, very well by the positioning of his car. But what he is doing is putting Yuki under pressure. Four laps. Yeah, it is a good race for Tsunoda. I agree, Motorsport fan. He qualified well. He qualified P6. He's P6 in the race. So I'd say not bad. Definitely his best race for Red Bull so far. Yeah, I agree. And it's funny that Lawson's had his best race for Red Bull, for Racing Bulls, and Tsunoda's had his best race for Red Bull on the same Grand Prix at a time when Laura Mekies has basically said you're both competing for that Racing Bull seat in 2026. They both had a literal kick up their arse and said, go and show us what you've got. And they both pulled it out of the bag. And Antonelli as well, after his public berating by Toto Wolff after Monza, where he said he was underwhelming, Kimi Antonelli's putting a good shift today. God. Norris all over the back of Tsunoda's gear. Wow, Hamilton, look at this. Lando Norris will be desperate to get past Tsunoda and Lawson if possible. Lawson really driving well, not putting a foot wrong here. Hamilton's still got a little bit of battery, got 40% battery remaining. Ha, Motorsport fan, you're pointing it out. Hulkenberg, then Hadjar, and now Sainz, all getting podiums before Hamilton this season. I know. And won't he be aware of it? Won't Hamilton know that? No, I agree. There wouldn't. It doesn't look good losing to a racing bull when you're in the Red Bull. I agree. And also the way Lawson's handled this defend over, well, it'll be like 12 laps. He has defended that 5th place exceptionally well. So we're getting close to driver of the day. Who is your driver of the day? Obviously, it's got to be between Carlos Sainz, Liam Lawson, Antonelli. Who in the chat, the Wooden, Motorsport fan, Sema, who is your driver of the day? Let me know in the chat. Oh, of course, Max is definitely a consideration for driver of the day. I don't like giving it Max, though, because he'd always win it. Aston Martin can just forget about today. On to Singapore and main focus 2026. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. This has not been Aston Martin's GP at all. It really hasn't. So Sema says Sainz also, but Max still gets your driver of the day. Yeah, the battery usage graphic is good, isn't it? It's good to know who's been conserving that battery. But the thing is, Hamilton's got 40% battery, but he can't deploy it, can he? I think next year that'll be more relevant with the boost button. And obviously 50% electrification. I'd love that boost button to be almost like, NOS, nitrous oxide. Yeah, the Wooden's giving it back. Max as well, driver of the day. But it's so boring, isn't it? He's put it on pole. He's won the race by 14, 15 seconds. Yeah, I agree. Max, brilliant. But I think if I've got to give a driver of the day, I feel like Sainz has got to get it. For the overperformance, the Wooden, exactly. Sainz has got to be my driver of the day. Taking nothing away from Max, he has been flawless this weekend. Lawson's been fantastic. Antonelli, fantastic. But Carlos Sainz, he's got a podium in a Williams. He qualified P2. He's got to be my driver of the day, surely. Surely he deserves it. Obviously, special mentions for everybody else. And even Yuki, special mention for him. P6, but just 2 laps now. He's just got to hold him off. 2 laps. Sainz has got to bring it home, baby. You're in good shape. Antonelli's 1.7 seconds behind. Yeah, Sema. Yeah, Sainz. Gotta be. Gotta be Sainz. Last lap. Short of something ridiculous happening. This is it. Last lap, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Norris all over the gearbox of Tsunoda. He's trying. He's trying on this last lap. No. Max Verstappen, quite rightly. Bringing it home. Yeah, it's good for the sport for McLaren not to win every race. Here he comes. There he is. Your race winner, Max Verstappen. Credit where it's due. Winner of your Azerbaijan Grand Prix. George Russell second, Carlos Sainz third, Antonelli fourth. Lawson with a fantastic P5. Yuki P6, Norris P7, Hamilton P8, beating his teammate Leclerc, I think, for one of the first times. What is it, the first time this season? P9, Hadjar P10, Albon P11, Bortoletto P12, then Behrman, then Ocon, then Alonso, then Hulkenberg, then Stroll. Yeah, terrible for Aston Martin this season. Gasly, Colapinto, and Piastri was your only DNF. Hitting the wall, first lap, turn 6. Yeah, that was it was. I was expecting more drama. I was expecting way more safety cars, but actually, apart from Piastri on lap 1, we didn't see another safety car. We didn't see another incident, and as expected, then. Max Verstappen is your winner. George Russell, a good podium for him, second place. But Carlos Sainz, driver of the day, 100%. Started second, finished third. Excellent qualifying performance. Just fantastic for Williams, fantastic for Carlos. I'm so pleased for him. Wow. Great Grand Prix watch-along. Excellent. Thank you so much to the Wooden, to Sema, to Motorsport Fan, and to everyone else who joined me in the chat. I hope you enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it very much. Really good fun. So, yeah. Great Grand Prix. When's the next one, actually? Next one is... It's not next weekend, is it? It is... Yeah, we've got Singapore, which starts on the 3rd. So we'll be doing more watch-alongs. I love it. I'll be doing FP1, FP2, FP3, the Grand Prix, qualifying. Join us at Singapore. But obviously join us every day for your daily Formula One news. We live stream in the evenings at around 8 o'clock GMT. But we also, I'm going to say I will sometimes go live in the daytime with breaking F1 news. And we're going to try and increase the content for you too. Thanks so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will see you a little bit later. Ta-ta.